Today is a really exciting day because we are going to start writing the body of our report on our chosen animal. So you have been busy collecting facts on different categories of information about your animal. Let's see if I can remember which ones I gave you. Body, facts about their home, or where they live, babies, and food. Now, so that's 4 different subjects. Now, as you go through tables of contents, in other nonfiction books, you might find other topics that are interesting to you. So you might decide to create another one of these. You might decide to create one about maybe play, what your animal does to play, or dangers of your animal, or any real other topic that you want. So I'm not going to limit you to do 4 topics. If there's another topic that you find interesting, that you've read a lot about your animal, you can print off another one of these and challenge yourself to do another page or another couple of pages if you want to. And that can give you more information in your book and more things that you'll add into your table of contents. Okay? But for the sake of today, the skill that we're going to be working on is taking the facts that you've gathered, and today I'm going to be talking about body. So I'm going to model for you how to take the facts that you've gathered about your animal's body and compile or sort of combine all of those facts into a piece of writing, okay? And I'm gonna refer to a lot of the skills that we worked on this year. So we're basically writing a nonfiction book of our own, okay? So this is your sheet of paper, and you can print this off, or if not, you can very easily create one of your own. And on the top, you see a little line here, and that's gonna be where you put your heading. So your heading for this page right here will be body or bodies. So this page is going to be all about goat bodies. Now, before I just start writing information about their bodies, I'm going to make a nice opening sentence. So you know when we do a piece of writing, writing always has a beginning, a middle, and an end. So really, each of our topics will have a nice beginning, middle, and end to it. So some of the ways that I thought of that I could begin my page on bodies might be something like, have you seen a goat before? It has a really interesting body, or a really unique body. Or I might say something like, I bet you've seen a goat at the farm before. If you have, you know that its body is very unique. Or I might start off by saying something like, goats have lots of very interesting body parts. So really, instead of just jumping in and starting to say, goats have hooves, goats have a beard, goats can climb, I'm going to introduce the topic of goats' bodies, okay? And you can get some ideas on how to introduce the topic of bodies by reading other nonfiction books and seeing how other authors have introduced their subjects on each of their pages, okay? I think I'll just start off by saying something like, you've probably seen a goat before. A nice capital Y above the line. I'm starting from left all the way to right. Beautiful spaces. Remembering all those skills that we've worked at from September onward all through the school year. Just because you're at home, make sure you're not forgetting to use your spaces. Tall letters are tall. Hang down letters are hanging down. Your letters are formed properly. You're really stretching those words out. You have probably, I hear my kids screaming as usual. They're having fun. You have probably seen a goat before. put a period there because my voice pauses. You have probably seen a goat before. Maybe I'll write, if you have, you know they have some really interesting body parts. You'll know. Sorry about this, guys. Oops. Body parts. I've been out of school for too long. I'm getting my B's and my D's mixed up. Even grown-ups do that sometimes. And after every sentence, as always, I'm going to reread to make sure it looks good, sounds good, and it makes sense. You have probably seen a goat before. You'll know that they have some interesting body parts. Now that I've introduced my subject, I'm going to go to my facts. I'm going to read them over quickly and decide which one I think I'm going to start with. I have that hooves help goats to climb. Goats can be black, brown, and white. When I read this, I also remember that some of them can be patchy. That's something that I didn't write down, but I just kind of remember it. I know that goats have horns, and remember that they help goats to keep their temperature at a, sort of the same healthy place all the time. And goats have beards to make them look really nice. So, yeah, maybe I'll start with the colors, because I think that's one of the most obvious things that we notice about goats. Okay, so instead of just writing black, brown, and white, I'm going to put it into a sentence. What am I saying here? What am I talking about? I'm talking about the colors that goats usually are. So I'm going to write it just as I basically just said it there. Goats usually are black, brown, and white, and I think I'll add in, sometimes they have patches. A nice capital G at the beginning of my new sentence. Goats are usually, it's a long word, I'm going to stretch it out, usually, it's a pretty long word, usually, goats are usually black. I'm making a little bit of a list here, so I can put commas in. Grade 2s, I can put those commas in between my list of words. Goats are usually black, comma, brown, comma, or white, and sometimes have patches. Sometimes, that's 2 words together, sometimes. I can know each of those words on their own, so I can put them together. And sometimes have patches. Lots of sight words here, like have. Those should all be spelled correctly. I'm going to go back from the start. I'm going to read it all together. Make sure it looks right, sounds right, and makes sense. You have probably seen a goat before. You'll know that they have some interesting body parts. Goats are usually black, brown, or white, and sometimes have patches. I finished this one, so I might just put a little check there to remind myself that I've already done that one. Now I'm going to choose my next one, and I'm going to transition into it. Okay, remember we talked a lot about transition words, not just writing a sentence after a sentence after a sentence. You want to make your writing flow like a real writer does, okay? Because you are real writers, okay? I think I'll go with the hooves next, because that's a really important part, and I think it kind of makes sense to do that one next. So, goats have hooves to help them climb. So maybe instead of just going into hooves, I'll say something like, another important body part are the goat's hooves. My capital A. Another important part are their hooves, which help them. Oh, if I remember, what I read was that they're shaped in a really special way to help cling on to really steep rocks. I'm running out of paper, so I'm going to get my second one as a backup. Grade 1s, you might end up writing just 1 page for each of your topics. Grade 2s, you'll probably write more. Grade 1s, if you write more, that's fine as well. Okay. Another important part are their hooves, which are shaped in a special way. I'm not jamming my work down below. Sometimes sometimes kids like to jam it all under here. But once I run out of lines, I just move on to a new page. So it stays neat and tidy and makes it easy to read and understand, okay? They're shaped in a special way to help them cling to steep rocks. Now I'm going to check off hooves right here, and I'm going to write information about horns and beards on my own. You can read my work, I'll attach it. But after I add my information on horns and beards, I'm not done. I have to tidy up my topic on bodies by ending it off in a way that makes the reader feel like they're done reading that piece. We wouldn't just end it out of the blue. We have to close our writing off for this section, just like we opened it up with our opening sentence. You've probably seen a goat before, okay? You might end your piece of writing with something like, I hope you learned something new about goat bodies, or I hope you enjoyed learning about goat bodies, or I wonder if you were surprised about what you learned about goat bodies, or something like, now you know all about goat bodies. You're going to end off your section on goat bodies by tidying it up with an ending sentence. And you can read what ending sentence I choose if you read my work below, okay? So your task here today is to begin with bodies, okay? You're going to introduce bodies with an opening sentence that makes it sound and feel like it's the beginning of your topic. You're going to create sentences about all the facts that you've gathered and make sure that your sentences transition nicely from one to the next. And then you're going to end off your piece of writing in a way that shows and makes the reader feel like they're finished reading up on bodies. Okay, so that's your task. This is a pretty big task, okay? So I will give you, I mean, you can certainly do it at your own pace. Okay, there's no rush to get this in. So if it takes you one day to do it, fine. If it takes you a couple days to do it, that's okay too, okay? Make sure, as always, you keep all your information together. And if you finish up doing bodies, you can move on to creating, doing the exact same activity for food and babies and homes. And I might model the process of doing this again in another video, maybe not, we'll see how it goes. And this is what you're basically going to be working on for the next week or so. So you can do this at your own pace, creating your pieces of writing. And then after we get all 4 of our pieces of writing together, I'm going to do some mini lessons on doing your diagrams. Okay, so please do not draw any pictures yet. Please just do exactly what I showed you and nothing more, okay? You can hold on to it and submit it to me at the end if you want to, or you can take a picture and show me what you've got so far. It's up to you. And that's it for now. I hope to see some of you on the live meeting that we're going to have this morning. And yeah, happy writing. I hope you're doing well, getting out in the sunshine. I planted some seeds with my girls today. We are making a fort in the backyard, so that's pretty fun. Tidying up, weeding the garden, doing all kinds of fun things, bubbles and chalk, all kinds of outside things. So let me know what you're up to, what you've been doing, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye. Miss you.